All right, man. Recording from Thursday, 5:25. Watched your video, and you really hit on a lot of points that were definitely pertinent. Like, why am I even trading if I don't, you know, have a plan? Or, I have a plan, so why don't, I stick to it? Like, it's pretty simple, that I want to just trade Cove H's and Cove L's, you know, um, outside of the opening range. And that's as pretty basic as it gets for what my general criteria are for looking for a stock to trade intraday. And then but then I said, okay, like I'm only going to take trades that are in line with the bigger picture trend. And obviously as demonstrated by Wednesday's trading and then yesterday's trading, is that I would rather do my own thing than make money. There's this feeling that I get where I feel impulsive, and I end up just like, and I don't do make check all my checks. I don't make sure that everything's in line, and every single time that happens, I have a bad trade. Exactly what you said about the ABCD thing, dude. That's 100% accurate, and I'm a stubborn ass. Because you're right. Like, I have been approaching this like I can do everything, when realistically it is pick a couple of things and become really good at that. And, I think having the intraday trend set up, the intraday trend trigger, or, triggering from an obvious level like we talked about in Glyc, that's got to be different. And then just not trading within the opening range. I think the not trading gap up go ups, not trading with the opening range or opening spikes, that'll keep me out of 90% of my bad trades, man. And that's most of the game, because what's left after you skip the bad trades, as we talk about, are good trades. So, I will say before we get into breakdown, I'm just gonna like land the plane. Like, I've been working out a lot lately, like for this at least solid for the past couple months, and that you don't see results in your body unless you do put in the work. And so this week, every day this week, I've done cardio, like in addition to lifting, every day this week. And I knew that that's what it would take to get the results I want. So I just have, I know I have it in me, and the discipline to not eat shit, to not drink during the week. Like, I've done all those things, so I know I have it within me to do this. But doing it is the hard part, and doing it is what separates people, as you were talking about, what separates those 0.001% from the rest of the bunch. So, I don't think I deserve anything, man, but I have been working harder. But as you said, and I have to admit that I haven't been working. I didn't make the spreadsheet, So yeah, I saw a couple days of profitability, but I'm feeling like I'm earning it more. But yeah, I'm still not putting in the necessary effort that you say that really is required. So anyway, I'm gonna stop harping on it. SPY, S&P 500 ETF, is a long-term uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. Recent trend action is kind of going sideways for about 3 months. Gapped up yesterday, broke out to new all-time highs. So anytime markets making new all-time highs, it's pretty bullish. Top two pre-market movers were Best Buy. So big picture in Best Buy, long-term uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. Kind of recently, just kind of going sideways for about a month. So, is this a naked gap up? I think that's one of those, trades. It ended up being a wide range day. Maybe there was a reason you could have traded this, but I think, we were coming off like a kind of a sideways month. I don't know. It's definitely in line with the big trend, but I think this is one of those where you just skip it because it's within my rule set to do so, and I'm going to miss a wide range day. The other in-play stock was SIG, so kind of had pre-market volume, and realized we kind of had this the prior day's low, so the big picture is we're in a long-term downtrend, right? And then the pre-market, we had volume come in the prior day, and so pre-market volume the next day. So stocks in play get below 52.86. So we test that level, which so kind of like recognizes that level is still in play. We test up, we come back down. So now it's after 10 o'clock. Kind of get the first flag. We talk about like outside of the opening range, prior support, becomes resistance type deal. Opening range low becomes resistance. So it could have shorted there. Could have shorted into this pop. Could have shorted as we tested in here again. So just the fact that we're in a weak stock, we've got volume in the background, or recent volume influx, pre-market in play. We get below the opening range low, and if you short this, you can risk 50 cents. If you risk 50 cents in there, and you get 5 to 1. So this was on my radar. I didn't trade it because I was busy fucking around with nonsensical stuff. So talk about what I was trading, obviously. So like this day is not a good day, right? I placed round trip trades 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 round trip trades. So the first one was Nvidia. So big picture, Nvidia is we're at a long-term uptrend, and then we're kind of going sideways for a few months, maybe 5-6 months. So we break out to all-time highs in volume. So intermediately, we've kind of been overextended in Keltner, gapped up the prior day to all-time highs and closed lower. So what was I thinking? Counter to the big picture trend. That's not in my wheelhouse. It's not the kind of trade I should be taking. And so we drive down. So here I am chasing. I threw in a trade like somewhere in here with my stop of a VWAP, and it was like a 2 to 1 at best. I ended up covering like some of it to take off a position and put on Glyk again. So just whatever. 1, I'm trading with the opening range. 2, I'm trading against the big picture trend. 3, trading within the prior few days range. So couple rules right there. Don't trade within the prior 3 days range. Trade with the big picture trend. Don't trade within the opening range. Like those would save me from this. It was a slightly profitable trade, but I mean, not a good, following the rules, not having a plan for that. So, so Glyk, obviously you harped on Glyk a lot coming off a base. Blast up on volume, so we pulled back. Right, it was kind of murky in here. Obviously, no reason I should have went long the prior day. So when we gap up, naked gap up, my one scenario in which I would go long is we tested down to this kind of level. And then, started making higher highs, higher lows. If we got above the opening range high with an intraday uptrend, I would consider going long. So, what I saw was we tested down to the prior, the prior level, kind of found some support. So we tested the opening range high, tested back down. So I'm thinking here at this point, higher high. We should have broken out on more volume, I think, when you see this is exactly what you're talking about is. We tested the opening range high, right? And we immediately come back down. So there's no breakout on volume. There's no follow through. And I think seeing what I want to see. So we come back down. So I told myself this is higher high, higher low. So once we got above this high and some volume came in, I was like, cool. I'm gonna buy this prior resistance become support. So I got long somewhere in 83. Or excuse me, that's the wrong day. Right, somewhere 61.54, so kind of right at this level. This was kind of going sideways for a couple bars. So, dude, I don't know if this is a bad trade. I feel like this is a real entry. We're at least above the opening range high. Yeah, we did gap up, but we at least the way I'm seeing is we made higher high, higher low, higher high. This could be a potential higher low, but at least I was buying. Prior resistance becomes support. It was above the opening range. Full cove H at that point, so I'm not as mad at myself about this one as I was about Glyk the other day. So maybe this is one good trade, but right now, I need stuff that's more obvious than this, and obviously, yeah, if we open lower instead of this higher open, maybe it's better. But still, I got stopped out. I had my stop somewhere in here. I only had 150 shares, so Anyway, got stopped out in Glyke, and then, but maybe it was a win trade. I don't know. And then a fucking the thing that happened in Nvidia is I covered half, but I didn't change my stop, so it ended up putting me in long when I got stopped out. So this one really shouldn't have him. This is just dumb. I should have changed my stop amount when I covered the first time. So stupid. And then Netflix. Let's talk about Netflix. I already gave it away. Big picture at Netflix is long-term uptrend. Kind of going sideways. Not really, but I mean we get above the all-time high. We do naked gap from the prior day, gap up, but it's not a naked gap to the all-time high. So we still had to trade through this level, the 61.78. So we traded through there, and then I guess the trade would have been to buy the first pullback to VWAP or something like that. But big picture, dude, we're within the opening range at this point. And then we got above here. I think it went long right in here. It's what's my entry? What the fuck am I doing? It's just dumb shit. And so, ended up getting out somewhere in here for peanuts. So, like a 1-to-1 trade, because I had to risk that much, if not even more. I had to risk, I think I fucking had to risk way down in here. So I had to risk $1 to make 50 cents. So that's a 0.5 to 1. What the fuck kind of risk reward is that? So definitely, dude, ego, greed, ego is the number one, and it has to be my mission, and it is my mission, man. I want I want to succeed at this so badly. I do, and I want to follow my rules, so rules, don't fucking trade within the opening range. Don't trade within the prior 3 days. Trade with the big picture trend. Do not trade gap up go ups. Do not chase opening spikes. So it's 5 pretty simple things right there, and then a couple triggers breaking the level or intraday uptrend. Just leave it at that, man. The fucking gap up U down shit is not working for me either. At least I don't think. I mean, I may have one instance of where it kind of worked out. So anyway, a couple other good trades. Maybe okay trades. Momo has been in play for because of earnings. It kind of gapped up and failed at all-time highs pretty hard. But it's been down the past 4 days. So I mean, and it's kind of coming back into this range. So while there was the trigger of the intraday downtrend, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, you could have shorted here with your stop at VWAP. But maybe just taking a measured move, just because we are. We've been down 3 days, pretty big wide range days down. So what does this really have left in it? And you saw we kind of covered at the end, but it's been in play. And so we get this intraday potential downtrend. You kind of could have shorted in there, but maybe you only got out of the measured move objective, not holding for a full wide range day. BITA, just kind of the same thought process. We were, in the long term, we kind of got to the all-time high, the 52-week high, and then kind of had this loser tail. So weakness, not a lot of volume coming in as we broke out there to the 52-week high. So excuse me, I don't know what that top line is. Probably a day on the breakout day. And so you say, hey, we broke out to 52-week highs and closed back below it. That looks pretty weak to me. So but this is is BITA up or down? It's not really trending. So I guess you could have called this a resistance holding play, and then been looking for shorts below here. Trigger being we get below the prior 3 days low. At this point we are below the opening range low. So you're taking the first pullback, first flag, whatever you call it, first pop, sideways. I mean, anyway, you can get short in here, even if you put your stop back above here, 30 cents, and you end up with a fucking 7 to 1. So and we talked about SIG already. So I mean, dude, and definitely my mindset going into this day was not how well can I follow my process. So it's fucked up that I get to where, the best thing about last week and early this week was I followed my process. It was how can I follow my process? How can I follow my process? Process. And then I get to today and yesterday, and it was how can I make money? I think it was very evident in my trading as I was trying to make money instead of trying to follow my process. And the fucked up part is when I follow the process, I will make money. So just it's good, dude. I need this shit. I can go on live like sometime next week. So it's got to be process oriented, not money oriented. But it's funny how that is directly correlated. That when I am process oriented, the money will follow. So, dude, I need that shit. Thank you for calling me out. Like I need to be humbled. I need to be, fucking gut checked. And over the weekend, I'm gonna go through all of my trades for the past month, and catalog them in the spreadsheet that you had laid out in the video when you told me to go off the demo. So I'm gonna do that over the weekend, and then maybe we'll see some patterns kind of emerge there, and I can have some more information about backtesting. But man, like aside from making the videos, like doing my reviews, and being prepared for the opens, like yeah, I mean the spreadsheets. So just I don't know, dude. Anyway, I want to finish Friday strong with following the process 100%. Because I'm doing everything else in my life, man. I'm studying Korean. I'm working out. I'm being disciplined in my eating, being disciplined in my training. So that I want this to bleed over into trading, but I have to be disciplined in trading. So anyway, sorry if the video went a little long, but we had a lot of things to talk about besides just charts. Have a good weekend, dude. Later.